Hey, Bulls and Bears, back with another dose of economic reality. My name is JJ, Bull to the Bust, BX4. In your view, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this trucker boycott. I told you just a couple reports ago that this trucker boycott, basically, these truckers were going to ban or boycott going to New York City. And there had been some pretty dire predictions that this was going to starve out the New Yorkers. They wouldn't have any food. It was going to make prices explode higher. And I said it was likely a nothing burger back in that video. If you watched it, you might have remembered. It was just a couple reports ago. And sure enough, I mean, it's already over with. Apparently, the leader has stepped down, and pro supporter of the former president trucker calling for New York City boycott backs down. Truckers pour cold water on protest. Quote, boycott not happening. I know a lot of you said, I was wrong, and you gave me a thumbs down on that video. You said it was going to be devastation. I mean, there's people out there that call me doom and gloom, but I tend not to believe that there's going to be, huge swings or huge starvation events like people were talking about in New York City, because there's going to be other truckers stepping up. And do these truckers really want to be responsible if something does happen where the price spikes up of food and there's lack of food, maybe? Do these people want to be responsible for that? So I called it, and looks to me like I'm exactly right. In fact, it's going to be even less of a thing than I thought. I thought we might see a little price inflation, but again, we'll have to see. Maybe things will change. But to me, it seemed like a nothing burger to begin with. But it is interesting to talk about and think about and speculate. The type of speculate the types of things that could come out of this. If there was to be a boycott. Now, not just New York City, but truckers are essential to most places, especially New York City, because there's so few things that get uh, produced or grown in New York City, especially from the food side of things. Mostly it's from the Midwest, and things have to get shipped out to a lot of the areas. Now, California, rather, we actually have a lot of farms out here. We're actually still the number one farming state in the country. Now, it's mostly because of our size. That's a big state out here in California. But when it comes to producing food, a lot of it out of the Midwest, and New York City would be in big trouble if the truckers were to stop delivering things. But it doesn't look to be happening. So let me know what you think about that one. Please let me know down in the comments. Also, update the central bank. They're going to be not so fast to cut rates. The minutes show most officials there within the ranks, they think there's talks of cutting too quickly. And I've always made the argument here that why are we even talking about cutting if we haven't won the war on inflation? If prices are still going up, why are they talking about cutting rates? Well, I think they're looking at the U.S. consumer and the levels of debt. The delinquencies are going up. We talked our previous report about how the delinquencies went from about 1% to over 5% at these credit card issuers, Discover and Capital One. And now we've got Capital One looking like they're going to buy out Discover. But they're both seeing similar delinquency rates, right? So it's very interesting when you look at it, why one company would buy another company's assets when they're seeing the same level of delinquencies. All right, let's move on to some broader economic stuff. This is really interesting, I think. Layoffs are still happening even at companies that are showing really, really good profits. Take a look at this here. Let's bring up a chart here, just a snapshot of a recent news report. Layoffs happening despite record profits. 1 year after laying off 12,000 employees, as workers begin worrying AI is slowly replacing them. And we're talking about Google here. Thousands of employees being laid off. And, amid record profits is what they're saying. Here's other companies that have had layoffs this year. Microsoft, Salesforce, Amazon, BlackRock, Citi, Duolingo, RTR, Discord, that's an online platform, Tencent. So pretty interesting when you look at it, that it is not all about profits. And I've said that here, that if companies can replace you, they will. That's why I always thought it was interesting that we have even something called a 30-year mortgage, that a 30-year mortgage exists. You're loaning out as a bank, you're loaning out somebody a lot of money over 30 years to pay it back based on a job they have today. A lot can change in 30 years. Not that you shouldn't go out and get a mortgage. I mean, in this case, it's better than renting. And the way it looks, um, the bankers are not going to let this housing bubble go bust. So you could actually still buy today and maybe end up with some equity down the road. I'm probably the only one on the entire internet that said the housing bubble wasn't going to crash. Now, I did say we would see some price corrections. Obviously, when you double mortgage rates, you're going to see some sort of reaction in the market. But as far as letting banks fail and the fear of banks going under, yeah, smaller and regional banks, but do you actually think they're going to let the big mega banks fail? I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they let any of the big mega banks fail. Worst case scenario, they would just get bought up by another bank. Just take a look again at what's happening with the consolidation in the credit card industry. We have now Capital One taking over Discover. What's what's going to be next? Is it going to be Visa buying out Mastercard? I mean, this is crazy. But Discover actually was the smaller of the bigger credit card companies, the smaller of the bigger companies. Now there's thousands of uh, community banks and regional banks that issue their own credit cards. But as far as the big credit card companies, Discover was one of the smaller card companies. So it wasn't too surprising to see Capital One buying them out. But it is pretty interesting when you see the consolidation happening in the industry. Now, onto the stock market for a minute. The big seven tech companies' profits now exceed almost every other country in the world. So we talk about domination and market just running the market basically. One research note says out of Deutsche Bank highlighted the fact that the Magnificent Seven combined market cap would alone be the second largest country's stock exchange in the world. Just the largest big seven tech companies. So we've got Tesla, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Nvidia, Meta Platforms, which is Facebook, and Instagram, of course, Amazon. Pretty amazing. The Magnificent Seven now wields greater financial might than almost every other major country in the world. The meteoric rise in profits and market cap of the Magnificent Seven outstrip those of just about every other country. So, wow, we have these companies now dominating online platforms and online commerce. And look at Walmart. Here's a recent report here. I've said this as well. I said that we're going to see more people go to Walmart and less people shopping at Macy's. In fact, the Macy's in the mall in the next city over here went out of business, closed down. There's still some Macy's, but more people going to Walmart, less people going to Macy's, less people going to Nordstrom's. You'll still see people at those stores, but you're seeing a lot of these locations of these higher end places close down, even in markets like San Diego, which is pretty amazing. Walmart beats Wall Street's holiday expectations as e-commerce sales soar. And remember, we talked about the holiday numbers that came out in January. We found out what happened in the fourth quarter and the holiday spending. And a lot of it was people actually getting less but paying more. When you look at the shippers, sorry, let me shut that off real quick. Sorry, I had my phone alarm going off in the background there. I had to shut that off. When you look at the shipping companies, example UPS, they reported a big drop off in packages, and we saw layoffs also announced out of UPS. So people are paying more, yeah, and spending more, but getting less. Just look at the number of packages that are shipped. So that's the trend that we see. We also have Walmart buying Vizio. It's pretty interesting how that happens, how retailers want to own the brand. So Vizio has a decent name as far as TVs go, and I think that's going to probably help Walmart, maybe help their reputation that they're selling quality stuff. I've know people that have had Vizio. I've had Vizio TVs, and they seem to be fine. I'm not a high end audio visual enthusiast as far as televisions go, but to me the TVs look just fine. They work just fine. They're pretty reliable, and Walmart they're still growing. Less people shopping at Nordstrom's, less people shopping at Macy's, and more people going to Walmart. We said that would happen a long time ago as people shift their spending habits amid this cost of living situation. And the Nordstroms, where I'm, well, Mission Valley, sort of, by me, maybe a few miles away. Takes about 10 minutes to get there. That one's still pretty busy. I just went through there. Speaking of closings, we got a Walmart closing though in the mall in El Cajon. Now that's not because Walmart as a whole is doing bad. That's because that particular location saw a lot of people taking stuff, the five-finger discount. Big problem in that mall. And there's other stores in that mall. I think I walked through that mall a year or two ago, and I counted out of all the stores about 16 stores that were gone. Even the coffee shop had closed down in that mall. So more people still shopping online. Of course, the e-commerce numbers were really good for Walmart. So there you go. And Walmart buying out Vizio. But Google, look at Google laying off thousands of people despite record profits here. Let me just bring this up here. Despite record profits, 1 year after laying off 12,000 employees, as workers begin worrying AI is slowly replacing them. Yeah, companies will replace you even if they're making profits. Let's be clear about that. And one example I can give you of that is Amazon, as far as just profits and the greed and the desire for more profits from these companies. We know that Amazon is doing very well, and but still raising their prices. We were going through some of the streaming apps on our little streaming stick here that we have, that has like different apps on it that you can watch. The YouTube app, it's got Netflix, and a bunch of other streaming apps. We were looking at the prices, and we found out that Amazon, because we have Amazon Prime to get these packages delivered faster, 2-day free shipping and overnight shipping and stuff. Amazon Prime, of course, they've been raising the price of that. But if you go to their app, Amazon also has a streaming app called Prime Video. They're raising the price of it, and they're actually charging now for some of the movies. So it's not enough that you have Prime and you just get all these movies for free and all these shows for free. Now you go scroll through some of the movies and you have to pay for a lot of them. So my wife was like, Jeff Bezos is disgusting, something like that. She said, she called him evil because as much money as he has, why would he be raising prices? I said, well, they're going to raise prices if they can raise prices. If people are dumb enough to pay for it and dumb enough to buy it. I sound like I'm calling myself dumb here because I pay for Amazon Prime. So even if it weren't for the streaming thing, I would probably still buy it just for the fast shipping. There's been times where my camera broke down and I wouldn't have been able to do a video with my webcam going down, and I got the delivery the same day, which is crazy, right? Because there's apparently a warehouse not too far from where I'm at. And many times I've ordered things and got it the next day, usually within 2 days, though, with Prime. So there's business reasons behind my decision to go ahead and pay for Amazon Prime. But anyways, my wife called him evil because he's charging extra for these things that they didn't used to charge extra for, even though Bezos, again, one of the richest people in the world. So it's all perspective, and to say that these people are bad or not, they're greedy or not. Some people just say it's business. Other people say, yeah, they're they're evil, evil individuals. But I'll let you decide that. What do you think about this raising price situation still? Even though these companies are making good profits, also layoffs. Even though companies are making good profits, a lot of them, no, not all companies, but a lot of them are. Look at the big seven. And the situation with the truckers, I told you it was a nothing burger. Let me know your thoughts on that. Folks, we're going to wrap this one up. We'll be back very, very soon for another dose of economic reality. And we'll talk to everybody very soon. Keep stacking, y'all. Bye for now. Peace.